channel. Got my laundry. Let's go. Hello, and welcome to the van again. I'm the Vegan Van Man, and you're in the Vanagon. Today, I'm going to try to bring you 5 pros and cons as to why you might want to live the van life and my personal reasons for living the van life. So stay tuned. Okay, I think I'm going to save my personal reasons for the Vanagon life for another video, because that one's going to get real deep and it's going to go into, you know, my parents and their passing and everything that comes along with that, and it's kind of a heavy one, so we're going to save that for another day. But there's pretty obvious reasons, I think, as to why one would want to live the van life in today's modern age, and it's an obvious one. No more rent. It might sound spoiled, might sound a little obvious, but it's crazy how much that is an overhead for your life and how much it just can take over and can really just stop you from following some of your dreams and from following, you know, what you might want to do. And coming out of trauma and things like that, I found it really conductive for my life. And, you know, I have a theory. I really do. And it goes into my second reason, which is you don't have a place or an expensive condo or an expensive apartment that you have to justify keeping or justify spending all your time in. You know, I mean, I can't imagine spending $1,300, $1,400, $2,000 for a place or even a bedroom in a place like Vancouver. I mean, you must have to crack it up in your head like, I've got the best place ever. I need to stay here and, you know, do my thing all the time, and you know, and I would do the same, and even in any apartment, you know, and I wouldn't go out and become regulars in cafes or get to know my community. And so yeah, which leads me to my third point, which is one of the best things about the van life is how it puts you out there in the world. It really does put you back in the community, put you in touch with, you know, your surroundings, your local area, no matter where you're at. You know, you're always sort of needing the services of people around you and stuff. You don't have a washing machine. You don't have, you know, there's certain things you can't really cook and stuff like that. So there are those. And obviously freedom. And I don't even mean freedom in the sense of like the hashtag van life phenomenon on Instagram of going to cool mountain locations and taking pictures of your van in front of things, which is great. I would love to do that. But I'm just talking about the financial and mental freedom of being able to live in a van where, you know, you have time to think and to really plan what you want in your life and to sort of get reconnect with some of your hobbies or things, your passions you might have left behind from working 40, 50 hours a week and, you know, playing house in an expensive condo, right? So yeah, it's pretty obvious. And I mean, even just having time for hobbies, I mean, that's a reason enough in itself, right? So yeah, there's that. But there's obviously negatives to it as well, cons. So let's get into the cons. All right, so some cons to living the van life. I'd say a big one would be, you know, vulnerability, because like, as I said before, it's kind of a double-edged sword where you get the benefit of having to put yourself out in the world, but you're also sort of at the whims, you know? So it can be nervous at times and at first, and getting used to sort of sleeping and you know, hearing car doors and maybe someone walks by and stuff like that. Like, you do kind of have to trust in the universe in a sense that you do have security, you know? And it may seem a little naive, but you know, just being aware of that and being aware that, you know, break-ins are a potential problem and stuff like that. Let's see, what else would be a negative? For me, a big negative is not having a bathtub I used to love long hot baths, or even as a skateboarder slash courier, how much I use my legs. It's nice to be able to do ice baths and stuff like that for recovery. So not having that option kind of sucks. But yeah, other than that, it's you know, it's pretty good. I mean, I love it. I mean, okay, semi-limited cooking, as you can see my kitchen right there. Propane. It is fun to cook one pot stuff. I'll probably try to do some videos on that eventually, but not having a blender is a big one for me. That sucks. Maybe someday I'll be able to get a battery set up and solar and stuff and all that, and there's a low wattage blender, or I've seen the Vita roller thing, like the battery free, but I mean, green smoothies would be an impossibility. But really, I think the worst part about the van life is probably just the general social stigma attached to it. It doesn't seem acceptable in the eyes of a lot of the public, and it's due to our institutions and just the idea of what we're supposed to do, and the status quo, and how you're supposed to, feed into that. And I get it. And, I believe there was a real sort of drive away from the van life in the 80s and 90s when, hitchhiking the culture of hitchhiking became a stigma, and the idea of the vagabond loner was kind of a, bad thing. And so, yeah, I mean, it breeds from that. But things are changing. It's really a movement now, and there's no reason why alternative living can't be the norm. But yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest one, is general social stigma around it. A lot of people, you spend a lot of time explaining it, or they kind of wonder, where do you shower? How do you stay clean? You must be dirty. Oh, you hippie. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I mean, you go to the community center. We have those. Believe it or not, before I had an apartment, I would never go to the community center. Why do I go to a community center? Who goes there? The community? Who would have thought? So, yeah, that's where you go. And you have a shower. You get a gym membership. You go to hot yoga. You do something, right? There's easy ways around the practical aspects. It's a few practical aspects that, you don't get, but it's a trade-off, and the financial freedom you get from it, and the ability to be able to go do what you want, when you want, and take time off when you want, things like that. It's unreal. So, yeah. Signing off, Vegan Van Life. Yeah, maybe hit like, subscribe, tell your friends. I'm going to try to keep these videos short and sweet, and hopefully got to learn some editing and all that kind of stuff, and it's going to be a learning process. So, yeah, stay with me. Cheers. Bye-bye.